This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals at your service. Thank you to our sponsors, which are Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, and Dingman's Collision Center with 4 metro area locations. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about real estate construction, development, economic development, business expansion, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant, more prosperous. Happy first day of March. The old saying is, if March comes in like a lion, it goes out like a lamb, or vice versa. Today, it kind of seems like neither. It's kind of like an in-between the lion and the lamb, so we'll see what that means for the end of the month. But without any further ado, it's time to introduce my co-host, a man who is known so widely and broadly in Omaha that he can just go by his first name in the same way Cher does, Trenton.
You're too kind, Jeff. You know, people will say that we're Omaha famous.
That's true. And we appreciate that. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of very loyal listeners who have been with this show for 21 years. And it's also because we have restaurant reviews at Omaha. And we do one every week. Chris Corey is our restaurant reviewer.
Every week?
Every other?
Yeah.
Did I say every week?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Every other week.
Instant fact-checking, ladies and gentlemen.
And this week it was Dante, which recently celebrated its 15th anniversary. Dante, of course, is the very popular Neapolitan pizza restaurant southwest of 168th and West Center Road, very famous for its collection of Italian wines. It's one of the wood-fired pizza places. And as you might imagine, it's a very positive review. A lot of you have tried Dante. But since it was its 15-year anniversary, it was a good time to review it. You can read it by going to growomaha.com and clicking on review in the navigation bar. And when you read the review, there's also a little bit of breaking news in there as well. Dante has purchased a food truck to allow the restaurant to do more pop-ups and catering and community events. Now, they've had the mobile wood-fired oven.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen that.
Looks like an igloo.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I've seen that they've been at events, but this is more of a full-blown food truck that will allow them to have other menu items as opposed to just things.
They have a rotisserie in there.
Just things that would be in a wood-fired oven. What was that?
I think they have a rotisserie in there or something.
How'd you know that?
I read the review.
You actually read the review?
No, I just saw the top.
Oh, okay. Yes, it does have
Sorry,
a rotisserie. Chris. It does have a rotisserie inside the new food truck. But yes, like I said, you can see that and all of our reviews on growomaha.com. Thank you to All Makes, the world famous office furniture and office technology store that has locations in Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, Iowa, and several other smaller communities in the area for sponsoring Grow Omaha Eats. Grow Omaha Eats by All Makes Office Equipment, written by Chris Corey. Let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Last week, we had Holly Schneiderwin on the show, and she is the head, owner, president, CEO of Eagle Mortgage and knows that industry so well. And she was talking to us about what's new in home financing, reverse mortgages, market trends. Well, Holly is a wealth of knowledge, not just broadly when she comes here and talks on the show, but also on an individual one-on-one basis. So if you're thinking about buying a house, go talk to Holly or one of her team members, and we'll discuss you'll discuss your situation with them and get a customized solution, because Holly and Eagle Mortgage, they're not a bank. They're a mortgage broker. They work with a variety of banks and can shop the market and find out what is best for you. Their office is located at 114th and Davenport, and you can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, before we get into the news, though, we have another person here who is going to help us report it. And his name is Brad Williams. Brad has been part of the Grow Omaha team for 14 years. And when he's not doing that, he is the owner of Brad Williams Photography and a key employee at E&A Consulting civil engineering firm. Brad, welcome back.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, last time you were here, you were hosting the whole damn show.
Yeah, that was quite the experience.
Yeah,
Thanks for that.
We appreciate it because Trenton and I and our wives and another couple, we were in Mexico having a great time while you were here working and keeping the show afloat, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was a nervous wreck, but I did a couple days later. I went back and rewatched the show, and it came off a lot better than I thought it did. So
well,
it was a good time.
And while you were doing that show, you were also suffering from the ravages of influenza.
Yeah, I just had gotten over it a couple days before that, and I was a mess, but it was a good time.
We were listening internationally, and it sounded good.
You were texting me from Mexico, telling me I'm doing a good job, so that was awesome.
We're like, say this, say that. Nope, don't say that.
No, you guys gave me complete freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. It's awesome that you trust me to do that. And
the show's still here.
Yeah.
And the show's still here, and KFAB still has the FCC license. But good job, Brad. We appreciate it. All right, fellas, let's get into this news. Our first story has to do with tax increment financing. And ladies and gentlemen, before you fall asleep and turn the channel, no, this is really important stuff because TIF, tax increment financing, drives so much of the real estate development that we talk about, at least that which occurs predominantly east of 72nd Street. And so tax increment financing, very unfortunately, has become an issue in the mayoral campaign lately. And there's been a lot of misinformation about it and a lot of accusations thrown about for political purposes. That happens in political campaigns. We get it, but it's unfortunate. Well, the city commissioned an out-of-town CPA firm, that does all this sort of consulting to come in and do a thorough study of the use of tax increment financing in Omaha. And we use it a lot. It's our primary financing tool to make urban projects happen that otherwise might not be financially feasible. You see, we do a lot of these TIF programs so that we can build cool things in the city instead of knocking over more agricultural land on the far-flung reaches of the suburban frontier. At any rate, this company is called Forvis Mazars, M-A-Z-A-R-S. How would you pronounce that?
Just like you did.
Forvis Mazars.
Like it sounds.
Anyway, they said that basically everything the city is doing in terms of its use of TIF is consistent and compliant with Nebraska state law, so that's good. They found two small administrative items that had to be fixed, but they were like, how you communicate or post something on a website, and the city took care of that, which is fortunate. So as part of the process, the consulting firm randomly chose 5 TIF projects from 2022 and 2023. One of those was the Mutual of Omaha headquarters, $600 million project at 15th and Farnham that's going to be the tallest building in the city. And at any rate, things looked really good. It's being used properly, and there's no reason to really worry about Omaha using TIF. I want to say one other thing, because a lot of people, they don't really understand. They think, okay, this is just giving money. But the way tax increment financing works is that if I'm going to develop a property in a qualified area, which is usually very urban, I can go ahead and get private loans, and then I can use over the course of, say, 15 years, revenue from the increased value of that property to pay back part or all of these loans. The thing we have to realize, though, is that whatever the value of the property was at the time the TIF was granted, that amount of property tax always is paid. So the city never loses money. Never loses money. And then 15 years, when the TIF loans expire, then the city can start taxing that property owner on the new value. So you never lose what you had, but you gain a lot more. And most importantly, you get projects that otherwise probably would have gone to the suburbs instead of the heart of Omaha.
And that property, number one, wouldn't be developed, and it would just continue to get older and probably a lot less attractive than what's there. The other thing is what they do is they do the cash flows on that 15 years of incremental tax, and the developer goes to a bank or a lender and can monetize that and that way they can get that money up front in order to work on the project.
Yeah, the other thing is that if you look back at the number of TIF projects the city has had over the last 10 years, it's a big number, and it's really led to a lot of investment. Since 2015, the city of Omaha has approved 196 TIF applications. The resulting total investment from those projects, $4.6 billion. Many of which either wouldn't have happened or would have happened at a smaller scale, or they would have gone to the suburbs.
And there's safeguards
the
too.
city.
The city, they have to be built, obviously, or it's not created. There have been times where the city, if they take too long, the city will revoke their approved application, and those people either have to reapply or someone else gets the project.
And that's the nice thing about TIF is it almost has that fail-safe of it's on future valuation of the building. So if they don't build it, I mean, it's not like they're losing anything.
And I just want to let the Grow Omaha listeners know, you're going to hear, and this has been going on for years and years and years, people will use the lack of information that the average voter has about TIF as a weapon against them. And there could be a lot of different motivations politically for that. Maybe it's a campaign thing. Maybe it's because they don't believe in something. Maybe they have some other agenda that they're trying to put forth, or an axe to grind, whatever. When you hear a lot of negative things about TIF or tax increment financing, be suspicious, because the data show that it's not only well managed, it's just a really healthy way of making sure we get cool, blockbuster, big projects in the middle of the city.
If you read our Grow Omaha Facebook comments, you would think the mayor's just walking down the street with bags full of cash, just handing it out left and right to developers, which is totally not true.
Well, think about it. Think about an Omaha without the one serious vehicle, tax increment financing for projects in these urban areas. If we got rid of that, or it gets abused or whatever, we don't have a lot of incentives.
Yeah, without it, you'd pretty much have a hollow shell in the middle of downtown, and as opposed to the progress we're making. And then I think finally, last thing I'd like to say about this issue, because it's an important issue, a lot of times the people that live on the more far-flung suburban parts of the city of Omaha say, well, why do I care if good things are happening downtown? Study after study and actual results from real cities across the country have proven over and over that as the core of the city goes, so goes the whole city when it comes to economic health. If you want to have a great city with a lot of jobs, a lot of entertainment, a lot of recreation, a lot of retail and restaurant, and a lot of ability to recruit and retain young people to your city, you've got to have a strong core. If the core rots, eventually the whole city goes away. Look at Detroit. It all started in the center, and eventually the whole city went to hell. Look at St. Louis. Same problem. Got to keep the core of your city strong, even if you live in the suburban part of the city.
And the city's doing a good job with that, and with the master planning and the approved projects down there, and all the apartments that are going up down there, multifamily.
A couple other quick stories also related to the city of Omaha. More than 150 lane miles of City of Omaha streets will be resurfaced or replaced this year as part of Omaha's Street Preservation Fund. Now, this was the program that started when the voters approved a $200 million bond issue in 2020. And so basically this bond issue was the first thing we had in a long, long time that actually covered a substantial amount of repair and resurfacing. Before that, what we were mostly doing with streets were just widening projects or patching potholes. So now we're getting to the point where I think it is, you guys may remember this, but I think the plan is that once every 20 years, every street in the city gets resurfaced or repaired, like
Sounds about
replaced,
right.
which is pretty ambitious. At any rate, the 2025 program, so our fifth year of this, has a total of 41 projects, including 21 major street resurfacing projects, 10 residential project areas, and a lot of these residential neighborhoods that are doing like street after street within a subdivision that they're resurfacing or repairing. And then a bunch of others. They're even doing 2 Brick Street repair projects, one of which is a stretch of the old Lincoln Highway. So, as usual, you will see a lot of roadblocks this year, but that's good because we got to fix these streets that have been long neglected. And finally, guys, The Omaha Sports Commission this week announced that Omaha is the newest host for the USA Crit National Cycling Race. It'll be held in the Exarban area on May 17th. It'll be known as the Exarban Turk, TIRC, which is crit backwards. And a crit is short for a criterium, which is a short loop bike race on a closed road. Now, this thing is expected to attract 500 participating athletes and 3,000 people. So it'll be a nice thing, and it's not a one-off. The Omaha Sports Commission is going to do this every year.
So this is our Formula One, like Vegas has Formula One. We're going to have this.
It's our Tour de France.
See.
All right. That's your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back, we are going to take phone calls. We do this about once every 2 or 3 months, and we always have Brad in to help us with that. And so we want you to call 402-558-1110, 402-558-1110. This is your chance to ask what's going on in Omaha. Like maybe you drive by someplace and you think to yourself, what are they building there? Well, call us and ask us, and if we know, we'll tell you, and if we don't, we'll make up something. So this is your chance, 402-558-1110. We are going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back from that, it will be question answering time. Our thank you to Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center for being our sponsors. And on behalf of Trenton Maggot and Brad Williams, this is Jeff Beals telling you we'll be back right after this on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Nailed it.
Yes.
We.
See. I mean, we.
We.
Cole?
We.
I finished my second eval of
Okay, what's your comment?
Jewel.
Oh, okay. That's going to be the next review.
It's good to have that place back.
Yeah.
Hello?
People have to go to it. They need to advertise more.
You got to support it.
Hello?
Yeah.
If we want to keep
Hopefully
it.
this article
Hi,
helps.
can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
it will.
Yeah. Mostly the
Okay,
videos are mostly
what's
small
your
bike
comment?
type
What's your
stuff.
question?
Yeah.
But I mean, you get 2 or 3 of them, and you share them with your whoever you're with. And, good cocktails.
I tell you, some of my favorite meals are small plates
Yeah.
with really good cocktails.
Yeah. Well, go to the Jewel.
In fact, some of my meals are just really good
What show did you see?
I can't remember his name. Hold on.
Okay.
He was really good. He was
Lee Harvey and the Oswalds.
Okay. All right, I'm going to put you on hold. We'll get you in the queue
Is that
and see if
true?
they can answer your question, okay?
Could
Thanks
be.
for calling. Please hold.
Dick Gazzini and the Altar Boys is a real one.
Please hold.
Well, that doesn't shock
Please
me.
hold.
And
All right,
ten,
hold
He
it.
was
What's your
really,
name?
really good.
it's not nice.
Bond?
James Bond.
Okay. And what's your question?
Andre Vanderbilt, singer-songwriter.
Really?
He's really good. He played a lot of smooth rock, stuff like that, but he had a very mild
How are the cocktails?
Very good. They've got one called Opening Act, so they bring out in a box full of smoke, and they open it up at your table, the smoke puff comes out.
Oh, it's a cocktail?
Yeah, basically it's an old-fashioned.
Smoked old
Is it
fashioned.
mezcal?
Okay.
I'm not a fan of
All right,
smoked
we'll
old
see- we'll
fashions.
see if we can
I
get
like
answer
my
your
old
question.
fashions.
All right, thanks for calling.
I like my
Please
old
hold.
fashions not to smell like a campfire. Or,
Taste
Plus
like
10
one.
KVB.
What's that?
You don't want it to taste like one either.
I don't.
Hi,
I've never
Jim.
understood
What's your
why people
comment?
want them like infused in smoke.
I like them, but I've discovered I only like them on occasion.
You know the problem I have with it is, I think the thing I don't
All
like
right,
about
sir.
it is
I got you in the queue. I'm going to ask you to turn the
everything
radio down.
is
and
like
we'll
smoke,
get you
including
to
the
the
glass.
camera.
Like you
Thanks for
touch the
calling.
glass and your
Oh,
fingers smell
okay.
like smoke and all that.
Sure.
That's the problem I think I have with it.
See, what I do with mine at home is I have a decanter and I mix my old
And then pour it into a clean glass.
Well, and then I pop the smoke in there, put a lid on it, and shake it up, and then the smoke gets in, and then the glass isn't all smoky.
Oh, okay.
Shake it up, baby.
Shake it up, baby. Yeah.
Twist and shout.
I do a little twisted shot.
But you know the bourbon.
Pull it.
The bourbon is aged in a smoked
Twist
barrel,
it.
so they're already bourbon naturally has a little bit of smoke taste.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you need it.
Well, it's a showstopper. So it's supposed to be. If you're, it's cool though. Order in the box.
I said that's more of the
Yeah, that's the
anything
show.
of that, yeah.
It's funny because every time one of those boxes would come to a table, Jen and I are at a booth back there watching, observing. Because we come to the table and suddenly you see a whole bunch more because everyone's
30
like, what's that? They're like,
Okay.
the Uncut people will get a little
They just added fire. Then it get really
That'd
poppy.
be even better, yeah. Like what Alice does.
Dana went there last week, and
Dallas?
Vegas.
Are they still setting them on fire?
Something got set on fire. I don't remember.
All right, 10 seconds, guys.
I had a really good dinner last night, but the old fashioned was not so good.
Where?
Spezia. The dinner rocked. Like,
There you go.
Never had a bad meal there.
but the old fashioned was kind of bad. Yeah.
Make KFAB the #1 preset on our free new and improved
That's review work. That's review work.
Meh.
10 KFAB and iHeart radio station.
And welcome back to the show. It is the call-in show, 402-558-1110. We got a couple people in the queue, but there is room for you, too. We have Brad Williams with us from Brad Williams Photography, E&A Consulting, and Brad helps us when we do these call-in shows. Of course, Trenton Maggot is here as always, and I'm Jeff Beals. Thanks to Dingman's Collision Center for metro area locations for being our sponsor. They are Omaha's #1 auto body shop, also do mechanical work. And thanks to Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, for being our sponsor as well. While going to the calls, it looks like the first person in the queue is Cole, who has a question about trail systems. Good morning, Cole, and welcome to Grow Omaha. Go ahead, Cole,
Hello.
please.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you, sir.
Hey, great. My name's Nick, actually. And
Okay.
hi, guys, this morning. I am the vice president of the Bellevue Bike Club, and I heard you talk about the crit, which I was just glad to hear you promote that. I think that's going to be a huge deal. I think there's a $1.1 million impact to that area. And but I would really like to hear you guys talk about the growth and promote the growth of the biking trail system in Omaha. We rank, and it's not fair, but we rank 48 out of 50 states in the best bike trails in a state of Nebraska, because we really don't have any plan. And so I'd love to hear you guys talk about it. I love your show.
You know, I don't know your stats that you're throwing out, but I do know there are a lot of plans, in the newer parts of town for trails. It's harder in some of the urban areas unless you find an old railroad right away to get those trails in. But out west, when they plan neighborhoods, there's a lot of trails that are planned, but they don't go in right away when the neighborhood's being built. That's more of something that comes in a few years down the road. And then as far as the rest of the state, I'm unaware of how that would go.
Yeah, outside of Omaha, because I know Omaha and Lincoln have worked really hard on it, but outside of the state, I'm not too terribly knowledgeable about it. Not a big biker myself. But I do know, it's like anything else, there's a cost. And, and here in Nebraska, we're pretty careful about debt and these sorts of things. And so I think you'll continue to see bike amenities added. But I doubt you're going to see a flurry of them that would be, substantially more than what you would see in other markets.
Mick, how does the users?
My point is, the city needs to look at trails as more than a recreational item. There are a lot of people who commute to work, commute to the grocery store, and we do have a lot of trails, and I enjoy a lot of them. But it's for pedestrians, and it's for people in wheelchairs, and it's for people walking. And we have a lot of trails, but they're just not connected. There's a lot of disjointed areas. And there have been some good improvements lately, but would really love to see greater focus on that. So thanks a lot for letting me mention that on the show.
We appreciate that, Mick, and thanks for calling in. Now we're going to go to Bond, who has a question about the northwest corner of Highway 370 and 84th Street. Good morning, Bond.
Good morning. My name is actually Ron.
I wish we could.
For 2 this morning.
I wish we could get a producer around here that could hear names.
Well, that's not his fault, I'm sure. But anyway, there's been a development there on the northwest corner of 84th and 370 in Pacific sometime. And I noticed the first building that's popping up looks like either a bank, a drive-in bank, or a Starbucks or something like that. I was wondering if you guys know what that is.
You're correct. It's Starbucks.
Okay.
The bank is there is a local bank that will be popping up there pretty soon. So you got both of them actually. There's a national restaurant, quick serve sandwich type restaurant going up soon next to Starbucks, and then a lot more stuff in the pipeline. But I don't think any of the other items have really been announced yet.
Yeah, that area is being developed. The master developer is Jesse Calabretto Building Group. They're doing a good job. It's going to be very heavy residential over there, and some boutique shops and things like that. Also, Lockwood Development is purchasing 3 or 4 or 5 lots on 90th Street to the west, so they're excited about getting those going as well. And that Tower District, it's been a long time coming. You know, it's been tried before, and Calabretto seemed to have figured it out.
And we call it the Tower District because it's in the shadow of the iconic butterfly emblazoned Papillion water tower. Great question, Ron, formerly known as Bond. And we are going to take our break for the news today. But when we come back, Jim, stay with us. Jim has a question about 144th Pacific. You'll be the first one up when we come back after the break. But there's room for others because we only have Jim in the queue right now. So just dial 402-558-1110, 402-558-1110, and we will take your call. So that's it for now. You're listening to John Beals and Brian Williams and Terrence Magid, and we'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
You know you're going to answer that. You're like, no, my name is Tim, not Jim.
Okay, that first one was not my fault. He said Cole, I swear to God. He didn't say Mick. He said Cole. I swear to you, he did.
I don't care.
The second one.
It makes for good radio.
It does make for good radio.
I thought he said my name was Mike, and then you called him Mick.
The second one, that's on me.
Let's do that a little time.
So is the next one Jim or Tim?
It is Jim.
Let's call him Tim.
Let's find out.
Let's call him Tim.
1110 KDB, please hold. Hi, Jim. This is Bill, the producer.
John
the guy
Beals,
who can't get
Brian
names right. I want to make
Williams,
sure I
and
get yours
Terrence
right. Is it
Magid.
Jim? J-I-M? It is Jim. Okay.
Can we call you Tim?
System is crowded under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver
That last
Report
segment
and
probably
Precious
gives me some
Metals
good
IRA
skills
Guide.
to put for the video thumbnail.
All right, I got you. Thank you.
Go to betternestegg.com.
Everybody laughing?
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. Jim's still on. It is Jim. I had to spell it for me.
Is it J-I-M?
J-I-M. Yes, it is.
No, GYM.
Scott's never gonna live that one down.
You know, the bike trail thing, I'm curious about that too.
I think I cut me off.
When we lived in Papillion, we would be able to bike from Papillion to
Bellevue.
Bellevue, then hit a Starvin,
Yeah.
which was great. But I haven't found a connecting trail like from Zorinsky to other areas. So much.
It does. You cross
I must be
156.
missing.
Yeah. Zerinsky by the dam, go down and across 156, and you can connect to the creek trail.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and you go behind the school, behind
Where does the
Scott.
creek trail go?
It goes north. It goes at least to Dodge, if not.
It goes past Dodge. It goes
Not it's all the way to
past
Blondo.
Blondo. No, I think it goes. I think it goes past Blondo,
Cool.
but not all the way to Maple.
And then south it goes long ways.
Oh, you can go down to Bellevue.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, you can go definitely because you would end up past like the Millard Airport and then down
Yeah,
into Sarpy
you
County.
go by like Miller Refrigeration's old buildings, Tyson or whatever it is. Little Harry crossing Miller Avenue.
He got long-winded, so I didn't bring it up. But
I knew you wanted to say something.
they were going to make the downtown bike trail permanent, right?
Yeah.
Like protected lanes, that
Yeah.
whole,
And
which would be
it'll-
an east-west connection.
It'll be Harney from 10th on Harney from 10th, 17th, and it goes up to Farnham, and then Farnham all the way out to
Mesner.
My question was,
And the Saddle Creek is now getting some kind of bike trail
Hi,
along
thanks for
that
holding.
new
What's your
innovation campus, so I'm guessing
Oh yeah, on the
that
west
will
side.
extend.
Okay, it's David.
Over.
D-A-V-I-D, right? Okay. All right. What's
Sure, we go down there.
what's your question?
David, my name is Donald.
burgers are Ronald's. But what is the demand for bicycle riders? I mean, is it increasing?
Well, see, that's just like when you talked a lot, because like whenever you
They're
talk,
diehards.
Whenever you talk about bike trails in Omaha, the bike people are very critical.
I want a dedicated
and I think
pogo stick lane.
And part of it is they want to use it for community.
Unicycle lane.
You know, it's tough. You know, for first of all,
to take a lane out of service.
To take a lane out of service, and I know a lot of these people are very idealistic about.
All right, I got you. I'm going to
not
put you on
having
hold.
so many
We'll
cars. Well, it's not going to happen anytime in the near future. And then the other problem is, you know, there's, you know, 30% of the year is pretty.
Hi, thanks for holding. What's your name?
A bike here.
I like for fun riding my bike, but I wouldn't want to commute.
No.
1110 KBB. What do you got?
And I'm taking something home.
I'd rather take a bus than a bike.
How do you bring home the pet turtle from work?
1110 KBB.
Yeah.
George.
Backpack?
Bikers, though, cyclists, they take it seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a religion for some.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your question?
Yeah.
I can sort of see it because when you get out there, you're riding. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's great. I love biking, but for some of these guys, if you say anything not positive about it, it's like insulting their religion.
All right, I'll see if we can get an answer for you. I'm going to put you on hold. It is George,
The
right?
chip feels the same, or whatever.
Okay. Just want to make sure I get your
If you
name.
don't like that, blame Chip Beals.
Just double checking everything.
It's one of those days. We all have them, right?
How do you spell it?
All right.
Now, is that a V or a B?
What they want to know about Machine Shed? When's it going to break ground?
Yeah.
It's a burger shed, not a machine shed.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true. It's a scaled
People
down.
are all like,
It's a scaled down
losing
version.
their mind. Bob.
What's Machine Shed? I've never heard of
Machine
it.
Shed is a thematic
Is it 183rd? Where's
restaurant
it going?
in Iowa.
184th, 185th, 183rd, somewhere in there. In Maple.
Little, say, southwest of 180th and Maple.
I like Burger Detour.
Yeah, but
In front of Fleet Farm.
But a little east of Big Burger too. There's like a
You have
street.
to
Oh, is
elaborate
there?
yourself.
On the radio call.
know what?
There's
They
two
should get
chunks
radio,
there.
but
It's on the eastern chunk, and Burger Detour is on the western
Absolutely.
chunk of lots.
You
I don't know
almost
if chunk is the
and
right
little errors
word.
like that just because they're,
Yeah.
you're right. It makes good radio.
So, the last couple callers
When do you plan to
talked to,
break
they were all
ground?
laughing, so that's a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah. Well, and then that sets the tone for the call.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good.
Well, I thought this was going to be a boring show, but it turns out it's pretty good.
Call-in shows are always my favorite.
My wife texts, rough start.
I love call-in shows.
I'm kidding about the boring show. It's always
And-
complicated.
Oh yeah, there are some boring
Opening
shows, but
question
the
mark.
call-in shows are usually among the most interesting.
As someone who hears your show at least 3 times because I'm editing it, I don't find it boring.
Does it get more boring with each version? Like when you have to watch it 3 times?
Because I'm focusing on other things while I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
FYI, comma.
So we'll start with Jim, and then we'll go down the line.
Yeah. So Jim, then David, then George?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's not
A piece
Daryl.
of land on West Village Point.
I'll stop.
I had them spell it.
Just to
We have
home too sweet.
Gene, Donald, and Jordan.
Scott's never going to let me live that one down, I promise you. I'm going to get teased about that next week.
You hear Scott talking about Gene Hackman and the movies and stuff like that?
I heard part of it because he was talking about how he had like basically the twinkle in his eye and
Yeah.
the sinister grin when he was talking about that.
I think so, yeah. Well, I texted Scott. I guess
Thanks,
he didn't know my new
Mike.
number when I was texting him about Hoosiers, which to me...
Oh yeah, he did mention Hoosiers. Yeah.
Did he mention it? Okay.
On one of the things he was saying, yeah.
That was one of my... That's one
Did
of my
your
all-time favorite
voice to
Gene Hackman
text
movies.
yesterday on your iPhone?
I've never seen that one.
Fantastic.
That's the one about high school basketball in Indiana.
Mine for
He plays
about
coach
3 or 4
for
hours.
Illinois,
30 seconds.
Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fictional, but it's,
Sure, yeah.
it's so well done. It came out in '87.
Yeah, that's been around a long
You should
time.
see it. I mean, that's,
Yeah. Probably never will, but I should.
You really should.
Yeah. There's like so many movies I'd love to see, but
I'll invite you over and watch it.
maybe someday when I'm retired, I'll watch movies.
I already see where this is
All
going.
right, here we go.
All right.
Right into his face.
I know. Italian arm wrestling. Have you done that, really?
No.
Italian arm wrestling?
Oh.
You try to pull this down,
Here we go.
or I try to pull it down and I'm gonna go.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams at your service. It is the call-in show, and we have 3 people in the queue, Jim, David, and George. Stay with us, fellas, because we're going to get to you in just a moment. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. That is the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. The Omaha location, which is one of only 15 in the world, is located in Papillion near Highways 370 and 50, and we encourage you, if you're looking for a place for your kids or grandkids to get involved, go to caomaha.com. Before we get to those calls, though, we do have our Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies, of course, and they are an outstanding real estate developer. Headquartered here in Omaha, projects all over the nation. For decades, they've been doing this, and it doesn't matter whether you're talking about a retail strip center, or if you're talking about a Class A office building, or a whole entire mixed-use development. They do all of it. And Omaha Noddle Companies is famous for Exarban Village, Builders District in North Downtown, and so many others, headquarters buildings. Well, our news this week is about a new Noddle Companies mixed-use development. It's going to be part of the Gretna Landing overall development. This will be a 31-acre portion of Gretna Landing, so it's northwest of 192nd and Highway 370. The project, Noddle's part of it, will be anchored by a 130,000 square foot office building. Groundbreaking is expected to occur in the third quarter of this year, so not far from now. And additionally, it'll include flexible space designed for services, as well as retail, food and beverage space, and a 170-unit housing development.
Wow, that area is blown up, isn't it?
It is indeed, and that is your Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. You can learn more about our sponsor by going to noddlecompanies.com. All right, Jim, you have waited a long time to get in this call, and we appreciate your patience. And what is your question today?
Well, I tell you, you shouldn't fire the producer. He got my name right. It is Jim.
Well, you know, he
1 out of 4 is not bad.
He's there's nowhere for him to go but up. But go ahead, Jim.
Okay, I have a question and a comment. One is on the southwest corner of 144th and Pacific. It's a huge edifice, probably 2,000 feet west of the intersection.
That is the future headquarters for Applied Underwriters, which is a company that is generally headquartered in Omaha, although the CEO spends a lot of time in San Francisco, has an office there, but it's my understanding he's here a lot too. Anyway, that's going to be one of the most architecturally significant and engineering marvelous headquarters in Omaha, and it's taken a long time, but as I told some other Grow Omaha reader who was inquiring about it, it's my understanding they're pulling out all the stops, and it is going to be one heck of a headquarters building when it's done.
You've got 1,100 parking stalls all underground, which hasn't been done before.
So, Jim, you said you had 2 questions?
Yeah, I have a comment. You oftentimes talk about places like you just did, the Builders District in North Downtown, and I have a hard time keeping track of those. And so sometimes it'd be good if you could give, locations, bounded by this street and that street and so on.
Sure. The Builders District, good point, is bounded roughly by Charles Schwab Field on the east, Creighton University on the west, call it Cummings Street on the north, and maybe I-480 on the south, roughly. But, Jim, we appreciate you calling in and for your patience. And now we go to David. Good morning, David, and welcome to the show.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for the show. My wife and I have enjoyed it for many years, and she had a question that she asked me to ask, and that has to do with some time ago you announced that Menards was going to build something near Highway 50 and the 370 and the interstate exchange there on the way to Gretna. And we've not seen anything happen. Did Menards back out of that?
No, they still own the land, I believe, don't they, Brad?
That's what I was just looking up. As far as I know, they still do. But.
Yeah, and that's a Noddle development. We knew that when they bought the land, which is south of, or
It is northeast of Interstate 80 and Highway 370.
Yeah, and
in the Steel Ridge development.
It's by H&H, a bunch of car dealerships and stuff like that. It was.
Yeah, I think you said
they bought the property, but for some reason they've delayed construction.
That's not terribly uncommon with a lot of these big box retailers lately. You're seeing the same thing with Fleet Farm, which has acquired lots on West Maple and further west on Highway 370, and it's taking forever.
Yeah, and like Hy-Vee's owned the 204th and Maple lot for at least a decade now, in front of Indian Creek.
Yeah, so we haven't heard that Menards is not going there. You never know, and until it's open, you never know. But I guess from what we understand, my guess is they're probably still going there eventually. Anyway,
well, that sounds good. Well, you mentioned that Dingman's is located there, New Dingman's, and so I that reminded her of. I wonder what happened to the Menards. So okay, thank you.
Okay, well, we appreciate that call, David, and thanks for the nice words about Grow Omaha. And we're going to go to our last caller of today's show, and that is George. Good morning, George, and welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, and I just had a quick question about a restaurant. I know you mentioned Fleet Farm. You mentioned a while back about the restaurant Machine Shed. Also, maybe going on over there. I wondered if you heard anything more or know anything more about that.
It's the same company. It's Heart of America Group, the Whalen family. I texted my friend Mike Whalen to see if he had an update, and he just hasn't gotten back to me, but we just sent him a text. I'd imagine they'd build this year, but we don't know that as a fact. But Burger Shed is kind of a scaled-down version of Machine Shed, I believe.
Yeah, so Machine Shed is a very thematic, large-scale restaurant with a couple locations in Iowa and elsewhere, and it's kind of designed to be kind of an homage to the American farmer. I've been to a couple of them actually in my travels, and they're fun places to go. The food's good, theme restaurants, very large scale. Like Trenton said, this will be Burger Shed, which won't be as big as a Machine Shed, but same company, same ownership. And we have no indication that they're not moving forward. But this would be a little bit. So there's a cluster where the Burger Detour and Chipotle and Starbucks are. This would be kind of that cluster of lots east of that, closer to where there's a credit union called Green State Credit Union, which is under construction. It'll be, as I understand it, a little closer to that. Trenton and Brad are looking at the map right now.
No, I believe it's 185th and Maple.
Okay.
Just east of those restaurants you named, like
okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we appreciate you calling in, George, and being our grand finale caller of the day.
And the map we were looking at is we were still making sure that Menards owns the land, and they do still own the land.
Okay, so you guys are looking at the Sarpy County
CIS map.
CIS map. Okay, so no reason to believe that Menards isn't going there eventually, or because they still own the land. But then again, in the business world, people buy and sell land from time to time, so we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Well, we're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, Trenton, Brad, and I will go through your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a very short period of time. You don't want to miss it, so stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, and we'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Where's the aerial?
Right there.
I'm not click on that.
I rarely go on the Sarpy County one. I'm normally just on
brand new. They just upgraded it. It's really nice.
I need to look it up.
I photographed that Scissors and Scotch for Dave Chrysler yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That place is high end.
Is it open?
They're open for a few weeks. They got their final. They had their final permit.
Oh, okay.
Or inspection when I was there yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Was that out at Whispering Ridge?
Yeah, that building that sat empty for years and years.
So over by Jams,
right next door.
Yeah.
Over at Jams at like Greyhawk South or whatever, I did a deal with a company called Hammered Nails, which is similar.
Yeah.
Drinks and.
That's what Dave's guy was in there, and I said, "Man, this is the fanciest barbershop I've ever seen. It better be for $90 a haircut."
Is that what it is?
It's $90 a haircut, but you get a free drink with it.
Yeah.
Still.
What do you bring your own drink?
Still, that's a lot.
Can I bring my own
I've been going to the same barber since I was Barrett's age.
It's kind of
No, we're on like 85th and Maple.
kind of embarrassing. I just go to Sport Clips and it's like $25.
So this guy charges me 20.
Yeah.
It was a father-son, and been going there long enough. Dad is now passed away.
For years, I went to Rockbrook Barber, but you always had to call and get a reservation. It seemed like, and I like just popping in.
I've got the video of Bud and George at what was it called? What's the Fairway Meat Market is 90th and Center?
Shavers.
Yeah, but what was that
Loveland Barber.
Loveland Barber? Was it Loveland? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And Bud and George. And once in a while, you'd see them at a baseball game or something. And you don't recognize. You don't let them play.
They were out of context. Yeah.
But we got video of me getting my first haircut, crying like a baby.
I was sitting down on the floor at the crane game taking pictures once. My barber, he sits up in the upper bowl, way up there. He texts me, he goes, I can see from all the way up here you need a haircut.
I'm open Monday.
10 seconds.
All those guys that just they know first names and
Oh, yeah.
their faces.
Knows everyone.
Did my dad deliver you? Who did? You meet him? You met him, didn't you?
Yeah.
2 to 6 on News Radio 1110.
And welcome back to the show, brought to you by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center. Jeff Beals, Brad Williams, Trenton Magid, we're all in a line, and we're ready for this because it is time for your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things really fast. And we thank Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. They are an outstanding, top-notch Class A general contractor. They're based right here in Omaha, but they do work in the region. You know, they'll go up to Sioux City or out to North Platte, anywhere in between. What's more important than that, though, is that they do outstanding work. High-quality people at Perkins Kreitzer Construction who know what they're doing. They take their work very, very seriously. And Perkins Kreitzer can do everything from building out the inside of your office space or your retail space to constructing an entire built from the ground up building for you. Either way, it's going to be fantastic. Give them a call. Dave Kreitzer is in charge of the place, and we know Dave really well. He does an outstanding job of not only delivering good projects, but taking care of the customers as well. You can find out more about Perkins Kreitzer Construction by going to p-cconstruction.com. All right, here we go. Brad drove by 90th Street this morning and found that they are putting in the foundation for Church's Chicken.
Yeah, the foundation, the forms for the poured foundation were all in.
The former Godfather site.
90th and Grant Street. Qdoba will be replacing Oklahoma Joe's on the east side of 204th Street, south of Pacific. And that hasn't started yet. The old Oklahoma Joe's fixtures are in there, so it'll probably be a little while before it opens. We have Deli Coffee Bakery Las Chilenas. That's a mouthful for a restaurant. Deli Coffee Bakery Las Chilenas. Good place, though, from what I hear. It's opened at 8064 South 84th Street in Brentwood Square in La Vista. Grand opening celebration is slated for March 8th. It is locally owned. The business specializes in baked desserts, coffees, Chilean empanadas, homemade bread, dobladitas. I don't know what those are, dobladitas. And
they're delicious.
I bet they are. At any rate, so try that on March 8th. And then, fellas, we've been talking about Meddy's for a long time.
Yeah.
They're out of Kansas, regional restaurant chain. First Nebraska location is going to be March 16th. We've been talking about it, but now we know it's going to be March 16th for the opening. This is in the former Gunderson's jewelry space at Village Point. Sign me up. Let's go, because it's fast casual Mediterranean food.
We'll take that soft opening invitation.
Yeah, we'll check our mailbox regularly until it arrives. The Grove Juicery and Wellness Cafe has opened its third location inside the Interrail Food Hall at Exarban Village. The local juice bar also operates at 24th and Farnham downtown and 181st and Chicago Street in West Omaha. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because one of the most popular restaurants on the planet is Dairy Chef in Elkhorn. People love that place. I always see the throngs of people in the summer outside Dairy
seasonal.
Chef. And that's the story right here. 2025 season starts Tuesday, March 11th at 11 o'clock a.m.
I mean, people think the line at Coneflower Creamery is long. That dairy chef blows them out of the water. There'll be 100 people in line some nights.
Oh, it's like when you drive by, sometimes you feel like you're going by a carnival.
Yeah.
It's so popular. But I tell you, I've had the ice cream there a few times, and it's very, very good. So I get why people wait. Apparently, they have good food there as well, although I've only had the ice cream. Isla Del Mar Restaurante will soon hold a grand opening for its third location in Shadow Lake Town Center. This is a Mexican and seafood sushi restaurant that has locations near 132nd and Center and in South O at 36th and Q area. They are open for limited seating as part of their training and soft opening right now. So if you go, it's new. You know, it might take you a while because they're still figuring things out. The Witchery Barber, which is a highly thematic barbershop near Rockbrook Village, is going into Warren Buffett's office building, the Blackstone Plaza, 35th and Farnham. It'll be close to the recently opened place called Homegrown, which is a restaurant. And then a couple closings really fast. Soft Mock in the Westroads, the Omaha Bakery in Elkhorn, the Walgreens store at 24th and L in South O, and Mahalo Poke Company in Exarban area all have closed. So we hate to see those businesses go, but we know others will rise up and take their place. Brad, we always love having you on the show. Thanks for helping us out today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I always enjoy doing it.
Brad's with ENA Consulting, and you can check out his photography by going to bradwilliamsphotography.com. We also have a lot of his photos on growomaha.com as well. But that's it for this week. Hope everyone has a marvelous weekend. Happy first day of March. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics All-Star Cheer Gym, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.